Before she learned the language of the wind, before her feet had measured the dusty roads of childhood, before her dreams had chosen their own direction, her future was already waiting inside another man's hands. Not written in stars, not whispered by God, but counted. 3 goats, 2 sacks of grain. A bargain made between grown voices while a little girl filled her clay jar at the well, never knowing she herself was the price. She returned with water. The men returned with smiles. Only years later would she understand that silence can sound exactly like celebration. Yet childhood, like the stubborn baobab, keeps reaching for the sky. Maryam learned to read. Letters became rivers. Words became windows. Each page whispered, "There is another world." She carried books like other children carried hope, believing education could unlock doors that tradition had nailed shut. Then came the day she held her diploma, a simple piece of paper, light as a feather, heavy as destiny. For one heartbeat, the impossible felt possible. Her smile was not the smile of victory. It was the smile of someone who had finally met the woman she dreamed of becoming. But dreams can frighten those who profit from obedience. So they asked her to wait. 5 years, 5 harvests, 5 rainy seasons, 5 birthdays counted not in candles but in borrowed time. She watched the mango trees bloom. She watched children become adults. She watched hope learn patience. Every sunrise was both a gift and a warning, because every tomorrow brought her closer to the promise she had never spoken. The village called it honor. The elders called it tradition. Maryam called it silence. Then, only 2 days remained. The drums grew louder. The women prepared songs. The fabric was folded carefully. The guests were already walking toward tomorrow. Everyone celebrated a future that belonged to everyone, except her. How strange that a wedding can feel like a funeral to the bride. The moon rose twice. The second night carried footsteps that did not follow the path home. She ran, not away from her people, not away from faith, not away from love. She ran toward herself, toward the voice buried beneath years of obedience, toward the possibility that God might recognize a daughter, even when the village did not. But freedom has enemies. Rumors travel faster than frightened feet. Doors closed, names were whispered, faces turned away. Those who once held her hand began pointing toward her shadow. And among the deepest wounds stood one question she could never answer. Why did mother say nothing? For years anger wore her mother's face, until one letter, one trembling confession, one impossible truth. Sometimes love cannot rescue. Sometimes a mother has empty hands. Sometimes survival demands a silence that breaks the soul of the one forced to keep it. Maryam discovered that forgiveness is not forgetting. It is finally seeing the chains hidden beneath someone else's skin. Then came the square, the place where voices become stones, where shame is performed like theater, where crowds forget that every accusation has a heartbeat. She stood alone. Heads turned, fingers pointed, eyes judged, yet something had changed. The frightened child who once cost 3 goats was gone. The young woman holding her own name remained. No crowd could buy her now. No bargain could erase the years she had survived. No public shame could silence a soul that had already walked through fire. The village remembered its traditions. Maryam remembered herself. And perhaps that is how every revolution begins. Not with armies, not with kings, not with anger, but with one girl who quietly decides, I belong to no bargain. Her story is not only about suffering, it is about becoming, about every child whose future was negotiated before their first dream, about every mother forced to choose between impossible roads, about every daughter who discovered that courage does not always roar. Sometimes it simply whispers, I will keep walking. So if you ever hear the wind crossing an old African village at sunset, listen closely. You may hear goats in the distance, children laughing, a school bell, footsteps running, a mother crane, a crowd growing silent, and one woman finally singing with a voice that no promise, no fear, and no tradition could ever own again. Because Maryam's story belongs to every soul that dared to choose hope over silence, truth over fear, and freedom over faith.